Today on the American Truck Podcast, EVE Online is getting a free-to-play tier, the Battlefield 1 beta is over, Batman is returning to Arkham in October, and we're getting a new Mythbusters show on Netflix. Hello and welcome to our 100th episode with Iron C.
And Jefferson B.
Brisk iced tea.
And freelance gamer. What?
He's a nice tea, didn't you know?
It's that
No,
game where
I'm
you
confused now.
name the thing that's immediately to your right.
Camelback water bottle.
Saltine crackers.
Mouse pad.
Wait, it's supposed to be right or left?
iPhone
to your right.
6S.
Yeah, I got saltine crackers.
I got a lot of things
And a
to my
Headphone
right.
cables? Well, no, it's immediately to your right.
Logitech mouse.
That is the first thing that is immediately to your right.
I'm pretty sure.
Saltines.
It's the
Yep, there you
closest
go.
thing to me.
There it is. You officially won the game. Congratulations. Achievement unlocked.
It's about an inch away from my...
Oh, Jesus.
What?
What?
I lost the game.
No! We went 100 episodes without saying that.
That's a darn shame right there.
That's a darn shame.
One
Ivy,
darn
you
shame.
said that's how you win the game.
Yeah,
How you win
I
the game,
know.
not playing the game. That's right.
I don't blame you or myself. It's just the situation.
I mean, I totally blame you, but all right,
Well then, if that's how you tell me how you really feel, Kyle.
dude. I live in San Francisco now. I've been here a year. I blame other people for things. That's what we do.
Shots fired.
But that's what they do. They all just do that. Doesn't mean they're necessarily right.
This is a free country. You are allowed to be as stupid as you please.
No, it's not.
I am also allowed to order my coffee with 6 creams and 6 sugars.
Don't
Well,
judge
at
me.
least you don't want half your extra large coffee with half the cup being filled with skim milk.
That sounds disgusting. Moreover, just skim milk in general sounds disgusting. But this is not a dairy podcast. This podcast is brought to you 100% dairy free. As we dive right into the
what
news.
the fuck?
Also,
Why is this dairy free?
Well, because
'Cause-
people have problems with dairy. Pretty soon this will be a gluten-free podcast, too.
We are
What the
eventually
hell?
going to
I'm
go to a
offended.
GMO.
I'm offended.
Can I make this a GMO-free podcast at least?
I
Whoa,
remember this.
no!
I need
Dude,
my
the saltines on my right are from
safe
like
zone.
CVS. There's no way there's no GMOs in that.
I don't know. It probably would have a label if it did.
I feel like this is still very true, though. Although it's San Francisco.
Who knows? But this is
Who knows?
definitely not a food podcast in any form.
I need my safe zone.
It's at
Tacos.
least, at minimum, a TV review and game review and game news podcast.
Close enough. We've been doing this for enough episodes. I feel
Also,
like we should
tech
really,
review.
It does have
And
a multitude of
news.
topics,
we really
of
should
which-
nail down what we are.
of which the
And
first
Top
10
Gear.
episodes did not really cover.
And
Nah,
I think
not
there's
really.
also trucks at some point, or cars, or both.
I think you're right. There was a
I'm
point
so
where there were
offended right
trailers,
now.
but we have been trailerless for a long time here.
We have. Hey,
Probably.
I understand you want to back off yourself another
I'm
like about
gonna
10
run
or
off
so?
the road here. How's that?
Oh, okay. You could just slow down, but okay.
I gotta have to go back on the road. There's a bunch of rocks. I'm not interested in running aground.
You're off-roading. Oh my god, friends me even more.
Today is apparently the Offend Dr. Ubershadow podcast.
Well, I mean, we have to make sure that we keep ourselves advertiser friendly, and that's what Dr. Ubershadow does right now. Is he keeps us all in line.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's making sure we don't overstep our boundaries.
So that way
Exactly.
we don't lose our advertising. That's a good
Oh,
plan.
that's-
He's looking out for the greater good here.
See, there you go. Good on you.
It's great.
I mean-
Greater good. That sounds like some sort of religion. I'm offended. I'm offended.
All right, so in all honesty, YouTube pulls it. I don't care. I still make videos for this shit. I don't care.
We'll self-fund. Don't worry.
No, we'll Patreon it.
We literally already are self-funding it. So
Yeah, we're self-funding
No
it, and
real
we will
difference.
Patreon it if people wanted to do. If people wanted to give us money for it, and we lost it because of some ridiculous shenanigans with the advertising, I would legitimately say, "All right, let's make a Patreon." That would be the one time you'd hear me say that sentence.
there we
This
go.
is
Only
a
as an
small
alternative.
victory. This is a small victory for the Jefferson B in the corner.
Hey, I hate Patreon when you already have funding. But
I
if you have no means of funding, I understand it.
I still consider this a small victory. Moving on to other small victories, the ever so popular MMORPG flight simulation space trading Swedish collaborative business game EVE Online.
Oh, I thought you were
Wonderful
saying
game that
World
it
of
is.
Warcraft Legion. All right.
Oh no, sorry, that's later on in the news. Actually, that's not even on the news right now. It's not on my news sheet at least. But yeah, EVE Online is finally introducing a free-to-play tier, encouraging more and more people to. Ooh, nice little jump there.
Well,
Andy.
thank you.
I did not do so well in that. I actually kind of knackered it. But anyway, yeah, EVE Online is jumping into they're starting their own free-to-play tier in November. These are in universe. They're going to be called an alpha clone, and they'll be having some restrictions based off of the things that they're allowed to do. But one of the I think one of the really key things that the EVE community developers have made sure to emphasize is that you can jump back and forth between being a free and a paid player, and you will see, by design you should see very little to no issue in taking your character back and forth between the free and paid tiers. So I know I've always wanted to jump into EVE Online, but I am still hesitant about subscription-based gaming. It's just not there for me yet. But this could be my gateway drug into subscription gaming.
How do you feel about?
I'm offended.
Oh God, gateways. I mean, I'm offended by gateways, but I haven't seen one in a while.
I picked that one up.
But no, I mean, how do you like Excel spreadsheets?
I actually don't mind a good Excel spreadsheet.
All right, then you might like Eve.
So I've been told. I just like the idea of, and I was reading through part of their community terms, but when a game is so dedicated that it has its own elected council that the developers pay to host in Sweden so that they can have peace talks and accords for the community, I think this is pretty cool.
So my only question is, it somewhat akin to WoW's starter edition thing where you can play characters up to level 20?
So I would akin it more to RuneScape's members program.
Oh, okay.
How there's more content that you unlock at the paid tier, but if you didn't pay for a month, you didn't have to create a new character.
Right.
There was just certain stuff you couldn't work with.
Right, or your level 21 character got
Although,
locked out.
Didn't
It's
with
similar.
RuneScape, couldn't you not equip members' weapons
Correct.
once you became a non-member?
You couldn't do anything with or interact with member items.
Yeah, so I think it's actually. But meanwhile, if it was equipped, at least it used to be back in the day, it would stay, right? So like that's actually. So to be honest, actually, Eve's is a little better than that because it's actually, from what they're saying, it's going to only reduce like very certain aspects of the game, none of which are game breaking or really game changing.
And the big thing is also the free-to-play tier is going to lock you down to certain areas, certain types of trade. Right. So the idea behind it is really to give you that like sampling of the game without making it so obvious that you like totally should pay if you want more content.
Right.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Eve does have a token system where you can get like a month.
They do. They were actually some of the first to do the like how World of Warcraft has their token system.
Yeah,
they were among the first.
Yeah, Eve was the example when originally we were talking about it back when.
Correct.
That I would use, and I'm actually curious if you're going to be able to buy those tokens as we're going to call it non-member, and become a member off of that.
I can't imagine why you wouldn't, except they might not allow you to access their global trading network as a free member.
Right, which would be the same thing that WoW does.
Right.
It basically makes it that you have to pay for at least 1 month.
Yep.
And then from there it's free.
Exactly.
Or can be free.
Or you can buy one thing that I'm really pleased that Eve does is you can buy a starter pack, and then out of that starter pack, it just includes a free month of game time, but you pay slightly more than $15 for the whole kit and caboodle.
Right.
You get a couple of in-game items, you get some skins. You know, it's a nice like little push off the ledge.
Yeah, kind of similar to WoW's starter pack, but with slightly
Very
less,
similar.
with less things that WoW
Right.
gives you. So that's definitely an interesting thing. Definitely, we'll see probably more things from Eve for that reason.
I really hope so, just because this is kind of like one of their last-ditch efforts to re-spark people into wanting to play this game, because it seems to have been the businessman's MMO.
Right.
And that's not going to work going forward. So.
And I'm not sure if we mentioned it, but that tier will release in November.
Yes,
So-
we are. Do we have a date in November, or is it just
Don't think there
November.
was one yet. I think it was just
Okay.
in November.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't like Eve is I didn't like the combat system. That was my own. That was my own thing.
That's very fair.
And that's the thing I like is this will allow people to try it and get an idea if they do like it or not,
Hmm.
which I would have loved. There's a little bit of salt, and it's not just the saltines.
your GMO'd saltines.
That's right. Hey, so in case you were wondering, the next episode of Batman's Telltale game's coming out soon.
Oh yeah, how's that been doing? Good one.
I don't know. I haven't really followed it much.
Yeah, I really haven't been either. I know it's been one of those things where it's like it's Telltale; they can do no wrong.
Nah,
it's
that's not
also-
true.
They can do plenty wrong, but whether people
They've done a
admit it
couple
or
games
not.
that are wrong. Jurassic Park Telltale was bad. It's a good example of a bad game right off the top. And in my opinion, The Walking Dead should have ended after the first season.
The show or the game?
Both. But actually, in all honesty, both. The show should have definitely ended after like season 2. But the game I feel like had a great ending, and they made a continuation, which I've heard is very good. But it kind of feels like milking the cow.
Mm,
So there ain't no
Right.
milk.
right, but I mean, this is a whole new IP. So Batman.
So this could be, and this is something I'm interested in, is that they've made another, like based off of a franchise that already exists.
Right, and a
Similar to
franchise that has seen very successful games up until recent times.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
As we'll get to later.
Oh dear.
But so that releases on the 20th of September here, so just about 2
And are
weeks.
they offering a season pass for that game?
I think there was one, yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yep, that gets you access to the whole set of episodes. I don't remember how many episodes, it was 3 or 4, but
Mm.
could even be
Uh-oh.
5 for all I know.
I hope it's 5, man. Or I hope it's
I don't remember. Because it's been a couple weeks or 2 months, probably a month or 2 since their first episode came out, so.
Yeah.
And I forgot to check. But since we mentioned it, we might as well skip to the Batman Return to Arkham game, which has had many problems. Not as bad as the last game, Arkham Knight, which was a whole palooza of problems. Many people were hoping that this would be a return to less bad launches, and that actually resulted in them indefinitely delaying Return to Arkham, which is the remaster of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Back in July is when this was supposed to come out, and sometime in like June they were like, yeah, we're just gonna indefinitely delay this. We don't know when this is gonna come out. Well, it's now going to release October 21st.
For
Now,
now.
here's an interesting ploy that I would like to propose to the party here. What if, and maybe I'm just being a conspiracy theorist, but what if they knew all along that this game was going to be delayed until October-ish, but rather than forward the hype train by setting for themselves this deadline they might not be able to reach, they instead set an indefinite deadline?
I mean, that's probably what they did. They probably had ETAs of like what they're gonna get done, and then went rather than like, all right, let's not just throw the ETA out there. Let's actually throw out that like we're not 100% until we are 100%. Because ETA is exactly that, estimated time of arrival. It's estimated.
And I think that this might actually be the better way to do it. I'm at least slightly impressed. That,
This will be
they
the better way to do it, assuming it comes out in October.
assuming it comes out in
And
October.
there's not really any
Yes.
problems with it.
That's also a fact.
Also very true. And so it'll be one of those things where we're definitely going to have to wait until October. I think if there's ever a good time to release a Batman game, it's like in the middle of October.
Right. I do find
Yeah.
the date that they chose interesting because if I remember correctly, both Battlefield 1 and Civ 6 come out that same day.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
fun one. Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, you get the.
nah,
No,
dude.
there's no good way. You got a game
No.
that's pure single player, but it's a remake, or well, yeah.
I appreciate your optimism, Kyle,
Ah.
but yeah, this is rough. This is rough even for us.
So I don't I don't know who thought about that when they were looking at a calendar and was like, yeah, you know what? Let's just put this on the same day as 2 other games are coming out. That'll work out for us.
I mean, they could have totally pushed it to November at that point and been just fine.
Or even a week later, they could have just came out on the 28th or the 26th.
Actually, it'd be better. It would be better to do a week before, so that way people buy the single player game, play through it.
All right, the
They've already
14th.
paid for it. Pick up the next game, repeat.
This is true. I mean, I already thought it was weird when Civ and Battlefield were coming out on the same day.
Right.
But they
Yeah.
I imagine those are 2 different categories of people who are going to play those games. So it's probably not super large amount of overlap. I'm sure there is some, but I imagine the people who are going to play this Batman game probably aren't going to play it over the other 2 games. But we'll see what happens, you know. It could be good, it could be bad for all we know. But speaking of that brief mention of Battlefield 1, if you're watching this anytime after it airs, which I think is the only way you can see it, the beta's over now. So it ended on Thursday, and so you can no longer enjoy that game. You have to wait till it comes out, unless they do another beta period. And Kyle, you've played it. What's your thoughts?
Play for about 12 hours. I really think it's pretty good. There's definitely some restrictions they put on the beta so that you didn't have the most broken guns. But there are some guns that are a bit strong. And one of the things that it feels like every other Battlefield, but it feels like it requires a little bit more finesse than the last couple. Like it feels like you have to actually be working together with your squad and your team to actually get a lot of things done. Or you have to just be on the team that's just generally doing the right things, like one of the two, and it's very unlikely you're going to get that latter. So the map that they put out is a desert map, 7 capture points, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 7. And it was pretty good. It's a good amount of fun. Rush is Rush. I mean, it's a Battlefield game, but they put in weapons that are slightly. Some of them are slightly underpowered, and some of them are just as powerful as other games had. So the ones that are just as powerful feel a little overpowered, but it kind of makes sense because you're in World War I. That like the guy with a bolt-action rifle is gonna hit you.
I am
way
on my
more.
side.
Okay.
Oh no.
I am officially on my side.
And that vehicles are going to be very strong. I mean, I'm on a horseback. You're in a tank. Pretty sure this went the right way.
Wait, you got to ride a
Pretty
horse?
sure. Oh yeah, you get to ride a horse.
What?
You can do horseback with a lever action rifle, or you can switch to a sword and slice at people on the to the right of you.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And it's an insta kill, and it's
Is-
amazingly fun to do.
Is it as cool as I'm thinking it is?
It's pretty great. You get shot down a lot. Here's the thing. You got to remember, you're on a horse, so everybody just kind of looks at you and goes, "Hi, we do have fully automatic weapons," and they just fire at the horse. So you got to be kind of sneaky with it. You can't just be like charging into the front because they're just
You
gonna
got to be a stealth horse, is what you're
You
telling
gotta be a stealth horse, a little bit.
Got it.
Or you can do what some people I saw do on Reddit, which is use the ability that the horse has to jump over walls to scare the crap out of people. Because it jumps over pretty high walls.
Yeah, that sounds like a right way to do it.
It was a good beta though. It was fun. There's definitely some glitches they gotta fix. I remember phasing in and out of a rock where people couldn't see me, but I could see them. But they could see my scope. So like, there's trades of like it's still a glitch. And a couple other things that came into play.
Right. And I mean,
particularly
this is a beta that's about a month out, so.
Yeah, and the biggest problem I had is in the game you can vault things, not as in Fallout. I mean, like you can jump onto a ledge, pull yourself up, or jump over one. And often in the game, I would find that my character would try to vault something, he would do the animation, and then end up where I started. And then I'd vault again, and it would do it again. But if I vaulted twice, like if I kept tapping space, my character would actually get up the platform. So it was these weird little, and that got me killed way too many times, where I'm like running for my life from a tank, and I'm like, vault over the wall! And I vault over the wall, and I'm like, yes! And then I'm where I was, I'm like, oh, hi.
Rip.
So, like, there's a couple of those. It looks like it has a campaign, though, which I think is fascinating, because what are we doing for a World War One campaign that's going to be interesting? I mean, am I going to be in the trenches? Am I going to get trench foot? Like, what's going to happen?
Never heard somebody get so excited about trench foot.
Dude, that would be... Oh my god, Trench Foot Simulator? Best game
You
ever.
have heard it here first, folks.
Who knows? They did mention that there is going to be a season pass for the game, and that
Yeah,
the
of course.
season pass will be $50, and is supposedly going to add 4 DLC packs, about 16 maps, and a bunch of other things that they haven't talked about yet. So
It'll be interesting to see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm curious. Like in previous Battlefield games, they would add maps from older games. So you would do maps that were based out of like Battlefield 2, and you're in Battlefield 3. We have World War One weapons. Are we gonna see any of that?
It's a good question.
It'll be interesting to find out.
Yep. Yeah, we'll keep following that too as we get closer to the release. I mean, get some, particularly the season pass DLCs and whatnot. What will be happening with that? And something that I am the most happy about here is, did you guys hear about a new Netflix show coming in December?
I might have.
That may
I
or
think I
may
heard about
not involve 3 former Mythbusters.
This I had seen, but only today.
Yes, so Cary Grant and Tori, which is often known as the build team from Mythbusters, they've been given their own show on Netflix. It's called The White Rabbit Project, and it's basically Mythbusters without being called Mythbusters, so that way Discovery doesn't sue them.
Yeah, wait, is this a working title? Please tell me it's a working
No, that's
title.
the title. The White Rabbit Project, it involves them, quote, going down the rabbit hole to investigate these myths and or legends without using the word myths.
I'm triggered.
So, but yeah, that's the actual title and the actual premise. But it is basically Mythbusters.
Oh, I mean, hey, I am very okay with this.
I am likewise very okay with it, and it is a show I will most certainly watch at least once.
Will he watch this before or after the Grand Tour?
I mean, since the Grand Tour is supposed to come out in October, and this not till December 9th, the Grand Tour.
Okay. If you had to choose between one,
The Grand Tour.
you would choose the Grand Tour over Project White Rabbit.
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
I think what's missing is he's missing the main character, the main hosts.
That one.
If the main hosts were there, you would think maybe.
If this was Mythbusters 2 with Adam, Jamie,
Yeah,
Cary
yeah.
Grant, Tori, yes, I'd watch that first, probably.
Before you would watch the Grand Tour?
Probably.
All
But
right.
this one, I'd watch the Grand Tour first.
Fair enough. Totally understand.
It's because there's a cast of people that we really like.
This is true.
I mean, both
Like,
are
really
casts
like.
of people that I really like, so.
Well, but you're missing people. You're missing chemistry.
Right. At least chemistry that made things interesting. So,
Definitely.
so we'll keep an eye on that too. I'm excited to see what happens. Hopefully, it all works out. It is made by the same company who did Mythbusters, so it's the same
nice.
production company.
I
So-
really appreciate their production company just for some of the wacky stuff they actually end up getting away with.
Right. So there should not be really any difference in the production value. I'm actually curious to see whether it'll look more like Mythbusters, the older seasons, or the new season of Mythbusters where they went all cinematography on everyone.
Right. Well, and not to mention all of those like really shiny infographics.
Right. The graphics was a big thing in this particular last
Yeah.
2 seasons.
Well, and that's kind of become the new standard of television at that point. Is like you can't just have like a white rollout sheet of construction paper and a white paint pen.
Right.
Call it a day. Like I would be cool with that, but I know that I'm not the average television viewer.
This is very true. So we will definitely be looking forward to that. And I got one final quick news thing. Remember a couple months ago we talked about the Forza Motorsport 6 Apex game, which is the first Forza game on PC in a long time. It was in beta for a while, and a big complaint everyone had was that it didn't have racing wheel support. Well, it is finally out of beta, and it has racing wheel support now, so you can play a racing game with a racing wheel like you're supposed to. So it only took them like 5 months, but
Yeah, you can play. You can now play your favorite racing game just as nature intended.
exactly. So, but with that, that's all we got for today. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the American Truck Podcast, our 100th overall episode. And if you like it, make sure you hit the like button down below. Maybe even hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment down in the box underneath that. And we will see you guys in the next one.